Hey,
Hello.
how you doing?
I am pretty good, actually. I'm actually sitting here in my new studio. I'm opening a second location, I think I told you, in New
Yes.
Jersey, and the equipment just arrived today. So
Oh,
I'm sitting
exciting.
here. Yeah, look at that. It's not
Ooh,
put together yet. So,
nice. That's awesome. Is that Grotz equipment?
yeah, this is a Gratz equipment that I purchased. My second studio that I opened was in Edgewater, New Jersey in 2004. And
Okay.
unfortunately, they closed during the pandemic because once I left there, I went to
Yes.
Mawa, and I went back in there and I purchased everything. I purchased the entire studio.
Yeah, smart.
So it's been sitting in storage, and then once I found
Mm,
the space, now it's here, and I'm waiting for my internet is being connected today. My phone is being connected today. So I'm just sitting here all by myself.
there you go. That's why I'll talk. Come
I'll
on.
talk. I'm here. I'm bored.
I'm bored. No, eh? And it's funny you mentioned that's the way that I got my equipment as well. Like as soon as when our lockdown started, I reached out to a friend, Monica in Orangeville, who teaches with Power Pilates, and she's like, hey, local. And then I asked her if she knew anyone that was selling equipment, and she was like, actually, because of the way that the protocol is now, where you need a certain amount of space between pieces, she was selling like every other unit, right? So to create some more space in her space. So yeah, so I was able to just scoop up everything from her one time, and
Yeah,
yeah.
unfortunately, some people, had to close down, didn't do as well, and some of us, had a great opportunity to purchase new pieces.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I was saying that. I feel like even though, I mean, the pandemic was really sad for a lot of people,
Hmm.
I felt like this was my time to catch up with people. Like while everyone
Yeah.
is sleeping, I can just get some work in, right? So I'm gonna grind as much as I can. I'm gonna start a business. I'm gonna do all these different things while everyone was like sitting down at home on this quarantine and waiting. That was my time to make up ground, right? So
Yes, I had, yeah, opportunity to take lessons, take, some classes from people. Yeah, so this has been pretty good.
yes. I see Martin Phils just came into the room here. Two Black TO. He's a Pilates instructor in Toronto. I'm in Mississauga, which is just a few minutes away from him. So our province just opened up this Friday, last Friday. So a lot of gyms have opened today for the first time. So I wanted to kind of talk, and you're like a master business person with all your locations and experience and teacher trainings and the whole nine. I wanted to just have a conversation with you and with others just around reopening.
Mm.
Whether, the quarantine had some of you locked down, some people were closed for a few weeks, us like forever. I know some of my friends in Australia, they're going back into lockdown now too, right? So
Oh, yeah.
it's tough. So everyone is adjusting and trying to just do their thing. So for you, how long were you guys closed down for?
We closed down. I was coming back from Brazil from a conference that I was teaching as we are closing down. I think it was March, and I want to say maybe 3 months, 3.5 months. And as soon as people started doing like the one-on-ones, because most of our business is private lessons.
Okay.
So a couple of us went back into the studio just to teach some private lessons, and I was
Yes.
doing mostly online. But we didn't really reopen until last summer. So I want to say probably March, April, May, June, July, a good like 4 months, four,
Yes.
5 months. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's, yeah, and then we were able to open slowly, but we kept our online business for the longest time. I mean,
That was the question. Yeah. So even now, how much of your business is online? Did everyone just automatically who was online, sorry, people who were in the space that went online, did they just come back to the space or did some people choose to stay online?
so some people chose to stay online. We have people that are just coming back last month after being online for a full year.
Ah,
So, or over a year. So, the more the people that are more skeptical and more afraid of coming back into like a one-on-one setting, an in-person setting, they stayed
mhm.
online. But we have, the beauty is that some of our clients who had moved away were able to join us in some of our classes. So we have some of our classes that we do in the studio,
Yes,
and we do online as well. So we do
as well.
both.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
which
believe
is
that that's going to be the way to go, for
yeah.
many of our classes too, right?
Yeah,
Just
it's our reality, our new reality, right?
that's exactly it. And I think I love the fact that it's making those legitimate options because before, I'm sure many of us talked about doing virtual stuff before it was important and necessary and the only option. And it was just kind of like brushed off. Like, no, I'll just stick with the live, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. There's a few comments here I just want to read. Art V Pilates, my beautiful teacher, soon I will, I guess maybe let's visit your new studio.
So
And
when I
And Tara Rose says, I have some clients who love avoiding traffic and finding parking and just want to stay online forever now. Yes.
that is true and interesting because I have some clients that chose to come back one day in person and the other day online.
Yes.
So that's a great option. But yeah, for those, especially I do have some clients that have equipment at home too. So those clients are just, I mean, why even come back to the studio? Right? It's
Yeah,
convenient.
it's great. It's convenient, and like we used to talk a lot about the ownership piece too, where now people had to do more practice on their own and taking classes on their own and not be so dependent on our tactile cues and telling them where to be in space. So now I think that everyone has kind of leveled up their Pilates game a little bit as well. So
Yeah.
it's not a bad thing.
No, no, not at all. And all the online conferences that are happening right around the world.
Yes.
And so even for the teachers just to study and to, continue to grow with their own practice, and they don't have to travel. They can just participate right, yeah, right online.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah, but I'm excited to actually be putting a new studio together and
Yes.
being nothing like being in person, right?
Right, exactly. Okay, so for the audience here, so real talk. So now you have a space there, you're building your equipment. Do you just open your doors and people just come, or you just at this place where like I mean like how are you gonna actually make money in that space? Like what's your plan?
So isn't it, yeah, so that's the next, right, the next step, because I've been announcing it, I've been putting it out there. And about 10, no, about maybe 17 years ago I was in this area, and my business partner Gwen was in this area. So we are just going back, reaching out to some of our teachers and
Hmm.
some of our clients in the area, and we're just kind of putting out the fillers. I'm planning on doing an opening, like a big opening in September, because now
Okay.
it's the summer, so it's kind of a moot point. People are away anyway. So I'm
Yes.
just going to kind of open my door, and I have a couple of clients in this area that we've been communicating in word of mouth. I mean, and then
Hmm.
finding those teachers that have the connections that can, start bringing the clientele in here, and
Yes.
and grow from there. But I
Right.
mean, to me, social media is how I grew my business, how I grew my teacher training program. So
Yes.
that's what I rely on, because there's no more newspapers and prints, and how do you
Yeah.
advertise, right?
Right, exactly. Just hope those referrals are working and people see your work through social media.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. And the teacher training program, I think it helps because, when you're in that area, and then people that want to get certified, and that even improves even more the word of mouth. So
Yes.
word of mouth is powerful, right? Referral is I believe the most powerful thing. I don't think I've ever advertised Mawa other than just social media. I've never put a print, anywhere.
Right. Right.
So
Well, you've also been saying like you've been talking it up, you're going back to area and just and that sort of thing. I think that sometimes we don't give ourselves enough runway when we're doing things like that. And what I mean by that is, start talking up for now for something that's happening in September. Like you build anticipation with people too, instead of just
yes,
like swinging the door open and just waiting for someone to show up, right? You talk it up, right? Give a long
Yes.
runway, right?
Yeah, so I have a couple of clients that actually live in this area that have been texting me and going, "Did you open yet? Did you open yet? Did you open yet?" And I
Yes,
said, "Stay tuned because I'm opening." But I
right.
do agree that anticipation, that putting it out there, it's happening, it's coming, it's, hanging there, and that excitement that when we actually finally open our doors, you know, if anything, I'll be here working out a lot.
Yes. And do you have like studio managers or someone for the other location as well? That's someone who's like gonna be there 24/7 at the other spot, or are you gonna bounce between the other?
No, I believe in having presence in all locations. So both my business partner and I,
Yes.
we're gonna be one day there, one day here, and it's interesting because as I'm putting together this place, and we're getting, building the anticipation of opening, I have someone that just emailed me yesterday that wants to sell her studio down the shore, and I'm thinking,
Mm,
wait a minute, I'm doing, a studio now. I don't have the bandwidth to start opening multiple studios at one time.
right. Yeah, that's wise right there. Because I mean, I'm sure other people would think like, yes, I'm starting my Monopoly right now. But but yeah, and then you get overwhelmed and then you don't do anything well. Like I believe in building things well, not fast. And that's why,
Yeah.
even for my space, people are right, well, when you open your own location, you could do this, this, and this. I'm like, well, it's
Mm,
like I said, like we're grand opening, sorry, the province of Ontario and here in Canada opened on Friday. So like the gym across the street is open for the first time today in like 18 months. So I haven't even had a grand opening. This is like my first day open,
wow. Yeah.
right? So it's tempting to just run and run and run, but let's just do this well first.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
That
Yeah,
is
but
exciting.
once people start, and I think back to social media, I think doing
Mhm.
some, maybe some, once the studio is up and running and actually my equipment is being installed, because the equipment is here, but my Cadillacs, as you can see, they're not even put together yet. So
Right.
so Thursday they're actually being installed, they're being maintained. I have new equipment that I purchased that is arriving, but doing some lives, right? Doing some classes, doing
Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
stuff
And
from right from the studio.
and doing stuff before it's polished too. I think that like being able to have like authentic content. This is what my studio looks like right now, and it's like the floor is not done, and like
Right.
when you could do that sort of thing, and people are like, wow, I can't wait to see how this unfolds. What's it gonna look like 6 months from now, and
Yeah,
all
come
those
all
different
together.
things.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
my window treatments are not, I placed an order last week of my window treatments. So I'll have no window treatments for at least another 3 weeks.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Allison was on last week, and she just purchased her studio, and Allison Skews, and her studio is where is she? I can't remember where. Someone help me. Where is Allison located? But so she just opened her studio. So now she's going through that same process and giving thought to how she's going to do things differently, right? And whether it's staggering clients so people have the real personal time with her, or having community that's like, it's interesting how people are thinking outside of the box from the way that, oh, California, that's right, San Francisco area, um, think outside the box from the way that they may have done Pilates at their teacher training or seen everyone doing conventionally.
Hmm.
It's almost like they're putting their signature on it. And this is what my studio is going to do because of me, not just because I'm trying to just turn the whole industry on its head. I just want to just do me.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. This is, and we learn from each other, because whatever is working from one, and you start to notice, someone is doing this and that, and you're just, it gives you ideas of, trying new things.
Yes, absolutely.
It's just, yeah.
Yeah, actually, that made me think too. So, what do you do for staff? Do you like a contract position? Are they paid staff? Are they just separate ownership? Like, what kind of model do you use for your teachers who come in?
I have, my teachers are employees, so so I hire them, and I'm pretty flexible as to, when when they want to work. So I love when clients ask me, are you open, for the holidays? I said, well, I am personally not going to be there, but if one of my teachers want to work during the holiday, the studio will be open. And sure enough, there's always someone that wants to work. And so it works out great to give that little bit of autonomy to the person that,
Yes.
clients. And but then I do like to have a schedule where, because we always have new clients coming in, so whoever's open in whatever days, I plug people in. And I do incent my clients to work with multiple teachers, because I believe that everybody should
Yes.
experience different teachers. And it makes it easier when I travel. It makes it easier when people go on vacation. And it gives clients a better experience to experience different cues, different,
Yes.
yeah, it's just all around. So I love that.
Yes. That's a great point too, Erica, because we talk about with the studio how people focus on the owner's focus. Like, I mean, like, how do we make money and get other people working and make sure that they're getting paid fairly, but that you can still make some money for the studio. Or then you think more customer focused, and then it's affecting people. So when we find that balance where the business owner can keep the building open, the customer can get a great experience, you know what I mean? And the teacher himself can, like, maybe the teacher wants to grow and be their own studio owner. Are they getting mentored, and are they getting pushed out the door instead of getting too comfortable working in your studio? Those are
Yeah.
the pieces, right? Like, I see how as a teacher, now you have to put on the mentor hat and the customer service hat and the business owner hat at the same time.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, and I do believe in giving enough for each teacher to grow as a teacher, right? To get better. And that's why I mean, I like doing in-house trainings and workshops for the teachers, and I like bringing outside teachers. Like I told you the last time, Sanjay is
yes,
coming, Blossom comes every year, and I love bringing different teachers to the studios, not just for the teachers around me, but for my own teachers, and for myself, because I do like
yes,
I continue to grow and learn.
for
So
sure.
to keep everybody fresh, and
Yes,
and I'm not I'm not the person that likes to hold teachers hostage. I like to give them enough freedom that if they want to leave and open their own business and do their own thing, I mean, be my guest. I mean, running a business is not as fun as it seems.
yeah, I know, eh?
But go for it.
Yep, exactly. Not as sexy as you think.
No, no, but in working as a team, and we do teacher workouts together, we get together, just to keep fresh, and so we can keep, fresh for our own clients. So
Yes.
we have a great team. I've always had great, amazing people working, with me. So
Tara's comment, that is very refreshing, Erica. A lot of studio owners think that they quote unquote own the teachers too.
yes, and that's terrible.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. We're both like, let's just change the subject.
Yeah, yeah.
We're
And
just bad about it.
I've had teachers that worked, for me over the years that today own their own studios, are very successful, and I'm always so happy for them. I'm always so happy for people that want to grow, and learn. We don't own anybody,
But that
not
is the
even our own
sentiment, though.
clients.
No, exactly. And that's the thing. Like, you think that you do, but the reality is that of their own volition, they could just say, like, "See you later. I'm going with so and so down the street," and yeah,
Yeah, yeah, no, yeah,
yes, but more studios opening. Right, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I think true leadership is when you are able to duplicate yourself.
yes. Hmm.
That, I believe, is true leadership. Not being able to call the shots and make a lot of money is when there are more people that are grown out of being in your leadership, that they're challenged and they're stretched and they go out and doing their own thing, and they're taking the best practices from you, but then they're also layering in their personality and their passions into the work as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and people that have come to me have grown as a teacher with me, left and come back to, take continuing education. I mean, those, the community should be that. The community should be very open to everybody, and, to have the growth of, every individual. And I think, having studios, I've never been the person to not allow my the studios surrounding me not to come and see what I'm doing. It's like, come in and see what
Yes.
I'm doing. Take a lesson.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Lisa making a comment here about small studios. So small studios with privates and duets are putting in the work clients love and the small town feel. Yeah, and you have a big space there, but I feel like there's a lot of micro studios that are popping up, like micro businesses, I should say, like what I have behind me, like one or two piece spaces that are very intimate and are like businesses within businesses. Like I'm in a clinic, a therapy clinic where there's Kairos and all those things like that. And that does provide the intimate feel, and it's less overhead, less risk, but then you
Yes.
could also do some really good work. And if you want to grow, like that's a whole separate conversation. But like if you want to grow your business, you can. But the crowning, the gold star isn't necessarily to say bigger is better. Like I haven't arrived when I have a seven reformer studio. I can stay right here and continue to grow my business in the way that I need to grow it here.
Yeah. And I have teachers that work for at my studios, um, 2 days a week, that have their own studios at home. And it's
Yes.
not a conflict of interest. I think for teachers to be surrounded with other teachers,
Yes.
sometimes with teachers that have
Good
a little bit more
point.
experience,
Yes.
and you're able to, when you have a difficult client, a client that has an injury, and you want to kind of bounce ideas and bounce experiences off. So I do have teachers that have their own studios, that work at my studios, and I think
Wow.
it's just a great, relationship. I trust them. It's not a conflict of interest. I don't believe, and and I'm trustworthy. And if somebody proves me wrong, then I move on. But but I just give that, you know.
Yes. But that's the maturity. Like I love that. And that's refreshing to hear because you're saying that is a huge conflict of interest, potentially, right? Because
Hmm.
the person could just be there just to poach people all day long, or you build a community and you build that trust and then everyone grows. I think
Hmm.
that's like good for you because there's too many insecure leaders out there that wouldn't allow that to happen.
Yes, yeah. And I have, it's interesting because I have a client, I have a couple of clients who are teachers who own their own studios. And sometimes they have, um, for lack of experience. I mean, sometimes you have experience with a certain population, and sometimes they will send their clients over to us to have a lesson or two so we can give
Yes.
them feedback so they can go back to those teachers. And we do that. We do that
Wow.
often too, which is, I don't know. I don't know. Call me crazy, but I just, I don't, I don't have that fear of people are going to take my clients. That people are their own person, and if they
Yes.
choose to go someplace else, I mean, it's their choice. I mean,
Totally. Yeah. That's in the name. Like your business is like learning center too, right? Authentic.
mm-hmm. Yeah,
There you go.
we're all learning, including
We're
me.
right, exactly. There's so much vision in the name of a business, right? Like I think that's it. Like if it's a learning center, then it's a learning center. I feel like it doesn't necessarily have to be a threat when you have those kind of relationships. That
Yeah.
like Tara says, I love that. And reading the other comment here, places in Denver won't hire you without experience, so I just opened my own. No one in the big city gives new teachers a chance.
And that is so not the right thing to do, right? Because teachers need to work with experienced teachers so they can grow and learn from the teachers who have experience. So how are
Right.
you supposed to grow and learn if no one will give you a chance to work in a place without experience, right?
Right.
Oxymoron. I mean, it doesn't work.
No, it doesn't work at all.
Yeah.
Here's another comment here. As a client, I would definitely side eye anyone that tried to poach me or engage me in an unethical manner. I choose this dude because I like it here. it would be so shady to have someone try to steal me. Right.
Yeah, and I've had clients like that. I've had clients that actually approached me and said, so and so asked me. And, then you
Hmm.
start to know the people around you. And then,
Yeah.
I am not shy to sit someone down and have a conversation and say, if you're going to be asking, then just, then don't come around. I hate throwing, not allowing people to come to the studio. But if somebody's going to come with the purpose of taking clients away, then, and I'm very open. So
Yes.
talk to me.
Yeah, exactly. You create a culture that opens that up and that
I
allows
don't
people to have,
know.
yeah.
Yeah, you can try it. I don't think the alarm would run off. So I'm having the internet installed. So yeah. So we're in the middle of
Nice.
installation.
Nice. So, so you're doing this on the data on your phone. I feel so loved. You're paying for this call right now.
Yes. Like I said, I was here waiting for him to come in, install the equipment, and I'm sitting here going, okay, because I don't even have internet. So when you popped up, I'm like, I'm here.
Hey, I know, eh?
I'm available.
So I won't take up any more of your time, but can you give us like some words of wisdom for new teachers out there who are just like wanting to grow their business, the next step in their business type thing?
I think the best thing is to, do your homework, right? Find out about, the area in your, your wants with that studio. But to have some kind of a mentor, I think it's great, even not just in Pilates, but in business, because I've had
Hmm.
great mentors over, the years, and people that have taught me how to better operate, the business, the day to day, and from social media to the day to day inside the studio, the best software to have, the best way to market. I mean, just,
Yes.
but in finding that community is the best. I always believed in networking. And to me,
Yes.
networking has always been the best tool of all. So network in your area, network in the community, on the Pilates group, because you always find people that want to help. Not
Yes.
everybody is out there to get you. There are good people out there.
There are good people out there. Now, in your
Mhm.
networking, are you saying networking just in the global, like the global Plies community, or in the like physical proximity to your space?
Even the physical proximity. I joined, in the area in New Jersey. I joined the Chamber of Commerce to join,
Hmm.
to know the other businesses in the area. Go visit the other businesses so people know that you're there, that you're
Yes.
open. Nobody knows what Pilates is, or no, or people think they know what Pilates is, right?
Hmm.
And then just, yeah, doing the legwork, the homework. And
Yes.
if you're opening in your area, then go out there and get to know your neighbors, get to know your people, the people in your town, because I think that has a lot to offer, and that support around.
Yes. That's helpful. There's a question here for you. Do you have any mentors you would recommend?
Oh, that's so big. I have so many mentors. It depends in
Mm.
what area. Mentors
Yes.
in business, mentors in,
That's
you know, in,
fantastic.
in the Pilates community. I mean, mentors of people that, that have helped me grow as a teacher, but as a
Hmm.
business, the people that I have worked with, even some of my own clients who are great business people, right?
Yes.
And I'm not shy to ask a couple of my clients that have been with me for so many years, to help me and
Help.
guide me through, and even mentors in social media. I have a
Yes.
client who is this amazing social media person. She's got millions of followers. That's her business. And she really helped me market myself in the studio in this whole, because I knew nothing about Instagram and Facebook and any of that. And she
Hmm.
really helped me amazingly, in get where I am today in social media.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, a plethora of mentors.
Yes, one for each area.
Yes. Yes, exactly. That's a great takeaway. That's a great takeaway because now the homework for you out there is to figure out what areas you need mentors in.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and anytime anybody has any questions, we're Instagram message away. I mean, feel
Mhm.
free. I
Same,
always
absolutely.
answer. So yeah, so reach out. I'll always be happy to help anybody out there for sure, no doubt.
That's that is great. I say the exact same thing. So yes, you have two bodies right here that are willing to help. So please reach
Right.
out. Yeah, that is great. All right. Well, happy studio building day.
Thank you.
This has been a treat, Erica. Thank you so much. And Chris Robinson says hi.
Thank you, thank you, and I'll keep you all posted on what's going on.
Yes. All right. So I think you have to hit the X button to go. If I press it, then I lose the whole live. So
I will press the X button. Thank you.
awesome. Thanks so much. Thank you.
Bye.
That's awesome. I love that mentor thing. I'm like mentors, multiple mentors. And which area? So sweet. Um, so the question I didn't ask her, but I want to throw it to all of you here too, is in terms of mentors, how many of those mentoring relationships are formal relationships? So you have casual people that you just bounce stuff off of, and there's people that you're like, I am going to pay you to help me. How many of those relationships are formal and how many of those are informal? Excuse me. Lisa, I have some Pilates mentors, but not social media business growth. Okay, cool. Well, this is my shout out for Leslie Logan. She has her Pilates business group agency, and she's doing another agency mini coming up. And I've done it in the past, and I've had people on here who have so many years of experience in the field who are part of her agency group in some capacity and have received a lot of information. And I've found that from listening to her and Brad talk and hearing it because I've been in the group and then having these conversations with different people on core conversations, I can hear the people who have listened to what they said and I can see how the businesses are doing, how they're prospering, whether it's social media or some programs or some growth of the systems that they have in place have been really, really, really well refined. So check out that. I'll put a post or a connection to that as we talk about building our businesses. So let's see here. So Ultimate Serenity Bodywork says, I have some Pilates mentors, but not social media or business growth. Okay, so yeah, so look for them. And Tara Rose says, I have had some formal Pilates mentors, one of my friends, teachers, trainers, and also Mariska and Megan from Neuro Studio, informal neuro mentorship. My husband kind of mentors me with business. There you go. Shout out. I always cheer for husbands who step up and are in the game. He has an MBA and his own online business on the side that does well. Nice. And husbands help with the business side. Shout outs to the husbands. One for the good guys. Good stuff. Mariska and Megan are pretty good too. Just kidding. They're awesome. They're so smart, so passionate about what they do. I'm so inspired by them because that is such a small, narrow corner of the Pilates world that they have taken and owned in such a cool way that I'd love to do that with working with men or with athletes. And like, if I could have that level of expertise and subject matter expertise that they have, that would be so cool. Challenge accepted. Surround yourself with business mentors, social media mentors, all these different people. Um, Tara and Lisa, do you guys want to join me on air for a second? Let's just talk about that. There's such good people too that have helped me a lot with my own medical mystery stuff. Yes, very cool. So thumbs up, Lisa, Tara, if you guys want to join me, let's talk one about Mariska and Megan, two about husbands, and three about mentoring in general, because I think that all those things are tied up together instead of just, you guys just texting all the time. If not, all good. We can keep chatting this way. I got a few more minutes. That's the beauty of these freestyles, is that you are more than welcome to join. I can have 4 people on here. Hey, Janelle, Helen Hayes, Sylvia. Nice. All good. But yeah, Lisa, anyone would like to join me, just send that request to come onto live and I will bring you on. Talk about whatever you want. Yes, coordinating call schedule. Can you go out on do you have a balcony or go outside or anything? Oh, this is pouring rain there or something. So if anyone wants to join me, I could take 3 people on screen in our last few minutes here. Okay, so Lisa, I think if you just go down, or I could do it too. Hey, what's going on, Kara? We're talking about businesses opening. If you want to join us on screen, you can. Janelle as well is in Ontario. So welcome to my Ontario people. If you want to join me on air and just talk about how are you pivoting and what are you doing to open up in different ways. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Great.
Yeah, I love the conversation, especially about the big studio and husbands helping. Mine runs a business building the equipment, so he's always given me business advice.
Yes. Well, that's a different industry too, right? Like widgets, so to speak, like your product versus service oriented businesses.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he helps, but I don't always have the savvy business advice from like how to grow your business, how to get the social media reach out there, how to get the word out, all of those things. And I've been doing it for about a year, but it's like you run out of things to do in your knowledge, your wheelhouse. Mm-hmm. You have to like outsource it out.
Right. You know what's interesting about that too is I get overwhelmed with that too, because the more you talk to people, you think, I need to have this, and this, but I haven't done this really well yet.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so I'm like, I'm gonna start a blog and I'm gonna have 5 different channels running. I'm gonna do a video daily and have a workout once a week, and then the blog drops off, and then it's been 3 weeks since the last workout posting, and then like, you know what I mean? Like, there's something to be said for just doing 1 or 2 things really well before, you know, even getting advice on the next thing. Because they could look at it and be like, hey, well, why don't you start this? And you're like, let's open a YouTube channel, of course. But then you'll have like 50 followers on Instagram because you stopped working on that, right? So
yeah, it's like all of these things, you're wearing a hat and you're doing all of these things, but which ones really matter? And then it's like you said, you're not doing all of those 1, 2, and 3 things very well, and you're just getting the spread so thin.
Yep.
And just like, I just want someone to tell me what to do some days, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That's the real thing. I work on the website, you know, I design the website, I do the classes, I show up to work, and then I have the massage side, and some days it's just like, it gets a little crazy.
Okay, so then what's your husband's advice then? He's coming from the product development world. When he looks at your service industry, what does he say? Lisa, just do this, do these 2 steps and you'll be good.
So him running the business, he always has advice. He goes, well, why don't you try the word of mouth? Like, reward your clients. So the number 1 thing he says, take care of your clients. So if client number 1 refers in Joe, well, give that client $10 off their next massage and give the new person 10. Take care of, reward those clients. Give them a free 30-minute massage once a year added on to theirs as a thank you. And I do all of those things. I take those to heart because those things work, because the clients put their trust in me, and then they tell somebody else who, if it's coming from my client, they're going to trust their recommendation and come in and see me. So that has weighed heavily. The second one would be, he said, outsourcing marketing. which I have now. I tried to wear the hat for so strong for so many years. I'm like, I'm giving it away.
Yes.
I hired an SEO marketing guy to help me with Google My Business, all of the things I didn't understand and didn't want to learn. And it's helped out. I've got a couple new clients for
Cool.
like couples massage classes. No new Pilates clients yet, but the massage side is growing. So I'll work on the Pilates side.
Yes. There you go.
Slowly as I go.
Yeah. I don't know if Janelle is still here. There's a lady here, like in the chat, who does Pilates RMT and also does Pilates as well. So I don't know if she's still there, but like it's kind of cool, that connection. I've had so many different people that have multiple disciplines like that. So, and we talked at length in our core conversations. Go back, check that out. But yeah, because I mean, you're so informed on the body that you're coming at Pilates from a different perspective. So I think that's cool, and it's something that almost you need to advertise. That people need to know, that you need to brag about that in a sense, to say like, this is what I know and this is what I bring to the table when you're thinking about Pilates for your body.
Yeah, I try to advertise different ways. Like I'll snap cool pictures of like a Pilates move or a teaser or something, and then I'll say something massage related to it. And then, I'll try to put that in people's mind. I think of different things outside the box, but I'm like, is that really working, or is it really like the status quo, what I should be doing? It's just kind of trial and error.
Right.
So.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? I'm going to see if I'm going to send a request for Tara here too, to come on.
Yeah, I follow her as well.
I see Kara Augustino. She's also a Toronto-based trainer. So it'd be interesting to hear what she's saying if she wants to jump in. But
is Tara in Canada as well, or is she in the States?
Yeah, she's in Canada as well.
She's in Canada. Yeah. That's awesome. You guys are open.
Hey.
Hello. I'm in my bedroom, so it's kind of a mess in here. Quarantine life. My husband's on a work call. The dog might start barking. Real life,
I'm out in the garden,
how we do.
So I can't complain.
Too funny. Yeah, so that's well, thanks for jumping on. I know it's
Thank you.
we don't have a ton of time, but
big fan of what you're doing here, Martin. Thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure.
Super big fan.
That's so funny because I'm just like, I'm big fans of both of you guys, and I love the fact that you're here cheering on everyone who comes. Every day there's a different person, and sure enough, you're there interacting with them and just you're saving me, like you're keeping the conversation going. I'm just like,
I just like to listen to people's, the conversations, where they're going, their background, who they studied with. It's fascinating. You can get on the internet nowadays and learn so much from so many people just having a conversation.
Isn't it so much better? I mean, and everyone does a good job with their websites, and we talked about social media, but like, it's one thing to put like Martin studied with this person, did dance with this person, or whatever it is that the person does. And then you hear them talk and you hear their story of their injury and how mad they were that they had to change to this. And then they learned, and then they met this person and this. And there's this fascinating story that goes beyond just this history of their exercise history, right?
Yeah, it's a snowball effect. Yeah.
I'm going to bring Kara on here too, if she's having another voice in here as we're talking about building our business. And while she jumps on, Tara, there she is. Hi.
Hi. My daughter made me join. My daughter wanted to see me be part of this conversation, so she might interrupt things soon.
Nice. So, Kara, I didn't see when you came in, how much did you catch of we're talking about the, like, basically mentors, generally speaking, and having different mentors for different disciplines, right? So you may have like your Pilates mentor, your business mentor, your social media mentor, all these different people in the mix, right? So
I missed that. No, I came in just maybe around 10:45. So I caught you sort of talking about bit of, what are you doing to, I guess, grow the business and go from there. Yeah. The thing that I've done most recently that has been a huge help is to outsource my website. So I recently had my website completely redone. I Also, I used to use scheduling apps. I worked with the same folks who did this marketing team that did my website to come up with a new scheduling system and a new system for how I deliver my personal training programs, my on-demand workouts. It's all on my website now. And I'm so glad that I do it because they made it look good. They made it user-friendly for clients and for me. And it saved me a huge amount of time. And now I know when I run into issues, who I can go to very easily, right? That support and that.
Right. So, and Lisa was talking about that too, right? Like this the sense of, that spot where it just makes more sense to outsource. So we are free to do the thing that we really love to do, right?
Yeah.
Outsourcing marketing or something that you just dislike. I love designing my website. I took classes in that, and I dabble in it. So that I love and own. But the marketing, not so much.
Yeah, it's not my strong suit. I don't enjoy doing it. So, what would take me hours and hours to do, days, let's be honest, to do, they just, whip it up just like that, and do it in a way that's so functional. And it was, of course, it cost me money. And so, of course, that's always an area of stress for us as entrepreneurs, is to take on more expense. But in the long run, it was a worthwhile expense to take on, to say, you know what you're doing. I trust you. You're the expert in this. I'm the expert over here. You come to my fitness classes. I'll work you out. And we're good.
Totally.
Yeah, you got and if you don't, and then it takes you hours to complete one simple task.
Right.
20 minutes.
Yeah.
So, totally agree.
Outsource it. And we're also talking about husbands and their words of wisdom, because your husband runs a business too, no?
Yeah, my husband's a chef and restaurant owner. So it's interesting because, he's serving people Italian food and pizza in particular, and I'm doing the fitness world. So that's always interesting. But we have lots of conversations about our businesses and supporting each other. And he's been doing it a lot longer than I have. Right. So, so he's really one of the folks who said to me, outsource, and he'll say, if you need help doing this accounting thing, if you need help with the website, then let's make it happen. Let's find someone to help you do that. And yes, you're paying for it now, but in the long run, it's going to be worthwhile. And so he really motivates me in that way to, take that chance to outsource.
How do you find the right person? That's the struggle, because
that's a good question. Yeah.
Like, oh, I know this and this, and you hire them and they do a horrible job. And it's just like, where do you take somebody's word on hiring somebody, or do you get it referred from a friend?
Just the same way that people refer us. For me, it's been referrals. And in the case of the website folks, they actually were clients of mine. And
there you go.
They were already, over the last couple of years, they sort of helped me with small jobs. So, small marketing jobs. So I had a sense of the kind of work they could do. And then we just, we've kept up that relationship and talking, and me, helping them out a little bit with payment for classes, and them helping me out a little bit on marketing things. So we built up that relationship that when I was ready to do this bigger project, I knew that I could,
Can I add, if I can just jump in there too, Kara, too, like it's the other interesting part, like one is just knowing like who to trust, and also understanding where you're at in your business when you're ready to do that. Because I've made the mistake of spending money or investing in something too early and then not being able to really capitalize on it because I wasn't ready for it. So you get a business coach and like, hey, do these 7 things, and you're just not ready to do it. Or you get a big website and then it's like you're not ready to answer questions or whatever it is. So just understanding and being patient with that process to understand when it's time to actually outsource and to
Yeah,
bring on is also key too, right?
absolutely. Yeah, so this is the website I just had done. This was after 5 years of using my first website. And things just started to kind of fall apart a little bit because it was left to me to update and I did not do a good job of it. So the website became a little bit, and I just found the business changed. So when I first started, it was KSA personal training. But over the last 5 years, it's really expanded where I don't just do personal training. I do kids classes. I do, adult group classes. I do different kinds of coaching. And I started to realize it's not just
It's
a person,
broader.
or it's broader. And so I needed to change the name. And with the name, I needed to change the website as well. So it made sense to say, I've grown as a trainer, the business has grown, so it's time that represents that.
It's evolving. Tara, do you have a website too?
I do not. My husband keeps hounding me to make one and has offered to make one for me. But that is
offered to make it too.
I've been lagging and procrastinating on that so much with the quarantine.
Mm-hmm. Well, why? Because I mean, you're not the only person, so I'm just curious to find out why. This isn't like a counseling session, but I know there's people who are sitting there like, me too. Like,
I think I suffer from extreme perfectionism. Like, I don't want to have the website done until I have the name set, have the offering set, have my whole vision set. But I think at a certain point, I just need to do it.
Absolutely. The funny thing with that, with just doing it, is like, it sounds weird to say this, but I know that with me, when I was thinking about doing something, I'm like, wow, it's not perfect yet. It's like, no one's going to see it anyways. Like, there's so much time between when you put it out there and the fact that people notices that it's there. You could have something be like grammatically incorrect and live for months before somebody recognizes that you're there. So you can put it out there and just get your closest friends to just take a look at it and give you feedback, and then just keep massaging it, no pun intended, until you're there, right?
And tweak, yeah.
Yeah, he has some big ideas. Like, he has this one business online that he sells patches, like military style patches. He was in the military for several years here in the US. And he's recently branched into apparel, including some athleisure wear. And he's already starting to tell me, oh, you can do this on your website, and you can start selling these types of clothes, and you can design workout clothes. And it's like, wait a minute, I don't even have a website.
Too funny. My wife is like that too. Like, we'll have these conversations, and then she'll message me after, like, you know what you should do? And then, like, whatever it is, like, just fill in the blanks after you know what you should do. And I've just learned to just do it, because it turns out to work pretty good when I just follow blindly with that. So anything that opens with that line, I'm like, all right, that's what we're doing next. Whatever I'm doing can just pause, and we're doing this, because it's bang on. So yeah, so I think you might be onto something.
Okay,
I think start small too, Tara. Like, I think, it's nice to have the big ideas, but then decide on like what feels like it's the highest priority thing, the most meaningful, and then allow it to build and grow from there.
Yes. So it's 11 o'clock and I have to run, but I have to do another freestyle tomorrow. So if any 1, 2, or 3 of you are free to continue this conversation tomorrow, we can do this. So
we'll try.
It'll be
yes. I'll be in the car on the way to my
so non-committal, all of you.
You started, Martin. That's the problem. At 10 o'clock, I've got a class. I got to work people out tomorrow.
Right? I know. It's true. The whole province is open too, so we're all gonna get busy quick. But we'll just flow with it. And I really appreciate all of you jumping on. This is so fun. So thank you. And thank you, and thanks to everyone who joined us as well. So I'm gonna log off now. But it's all Tara is Ultimate Serenity Bodywork is all the comments here. So thanks. Awesome. All right. Thanks everybody. Take care. Bye.